Welcome to the show and welcome to Freedom Live. I'm your host, Mike Dano. Tonight I'm joined by a very special guest, Devin Palladino. How are you tonight, Devin?
I'm doing good. I'll do very good tonight. Thank you.
That's, that's good, that's good. Tonight we'll be discussing the Zeitgeist movement and the Venus Project and the dangers of both. But first I'd like the audience to get to know Devin a little bit. Devin, how did you arrive at your current philosophy? Were your parents political, non-political? Did you attend public school, private school? Were you homeschooled or unschooled?
Uh, my parents aren't really that political, really. I think my mom's like conservative, and my dad, I'm not too sure. He's not that very open about it. I went to public school uh, most of my life. There was one time I went to private school. That didn't really work out. I was went to a private school when I was in 10th grade. That didn't really work out for me. So,
Okay.
and
Did you find that you got a slightly better education at private school than public school, or vice versa?
it's actually really no different. It's just really no, it's just this kind of the same. There's like no real big difference. Um, I did get bullied a little bit more in private school, but yeah, it was a Catholic school. It was only for 1 year, so I don't really remember it too much. So no.
Okay. So how did you describe your path to your current political philosophy today?
Uh, yeah, I kept watching a lot of videos, like Stefan Molyneux's videos really got me uh, into where I am now, and Larkin Rose too. His videos really woke me up too a lot.
Yeah, Larkin was pretty big for me too. I was a libertarian for about 5 years, Ron Paul libertarian, and I just stumbled upon Larkin Rose this one day searching YouTube, and um, I think around the time when I found Larkin Rose on YouTube, I was kind of leaning more towards the anarcho-capitalist mind frame, but I really couldn't put everything in perspective. And a lot of the libertarians leaning towards anarchism really can't. They need that little extra nudge. And I discovered a video that Larkin did, I think back in 2010, at the Mind Control Freedom Conference, and it was about a 40-minute video, and it literally just answered every question that I couldn't answer on my own, and I was just completely over the edge. I was sold, and that was about a year ago, and I've been a voluntarist ever since. And the cool thing about anarchism is once you get there and you realize the principles behind it and you accept those principles, there is no going back to the status mindset, and that's the
Right.
biggest thing. Like pushing the status today. That and I was one. I voted for George Bush in 2004, and I was just completely clueless on the whole. You know, the whole what's going on in the world. It's just I voted for him because that's what was because that's I was Republican, and it's tough to really let all that go, realizing that your whole life and everything you believed in was a lie. But once you get to that anarchist mindset, it's like you're free.
Right.
All right, cool, cool. Okay, so I'm not really intellectual when it comes to the Zeitgeist movement and the Venus Project. I know a little bit about them, but not really enough. Maybe you can educate me, and yeah, let's jump into this. I'm very excited.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Basically, it's another communist movement. That's just the guy who runs it. He just doesn't care. He just cannot admit it's just communism 2.0, basically.
Okay,
And
so who runs it?
Peter Joseph. And the thing is that his last name is not known. That's his first and middle name, believe it or not, which I did not know. I had no idea. So there's rumors what his last name is, but I don't know. so I don't want to say anything. Like, but you know, so what else do you want? What do you want to really know about it? You know, any
Sorry
specific?
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, anything that, I mean, anything you want, about it. Tell the audience out there, and what does the Zeitgeist movement, what do they stand for politically?
it seems like more of like a socialist kind of movement. I don't know if you watched that debate with him and Stefan Molyneux. Uh,
I did. It was a really good debate, and
yeah,
it was a pretty peaceful debate, I found, until Peter Joseph started to kind of jump into the ad hominems and kind of attacking Stefan's views politically. And Stefan, he called him out on it, and
yeah.
a little tension in the debate, but all in all, I thought it was pretty good. So what? How does a resource-based uh, economy with no currency exchange, how is that how is that a danger to the current political movement, or the current liberty movement, should I say?
Well, basically, he wants to have the whole entire monetary system completely out of the picture. Like he wants to permanently remove it, and that just doesn't seem feasible at all. I would imagine it doesn't work out. I cannot fathom it gone. You know, it's a mechanism. I believe it was Larkin Rose who said that you know us and money. It's just a mechanism us humans have. It's human action basically.
Right. Yep. Yeah, and anything can really be money. If I can just give a small example, I mean, anything that is voluntarily agreed on in exchange, any kind of good is considered money. It doesn't have to be, the paper fiat monopoly money that we get today. That's basically forced on us by the violence of government. If I agree to cut my neighbor's lawn in return, he buys me a 6-pack of beer. That beer is now money, and that's something that we voluntarily agreed on. There's no guns being pointed at anybody. So, I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't necessarily want to eliminate the monetary system today. I mean, yeah, I'm against the fiat currency and whatnot that we got going on, but I'd rather see competition in the open market. You got the Bitcoin and whatnot. I'd like to see people be able to trade gold and silver and use the Bitcoin online. I'd love to see that become more mainstream, and if that catches on, I think that'll really disrupt what the Fed's got going on. But the federal government's got such a monopoly, such a violent control over the money supply that they force that on all of us. We're not allowed to trade with anything other than what the Federal Reserve says is tradable.
Yeah. What the Zeitgeist movement is really proposing, it's just a fantasy world. Just doesn't seem like it would ever work out. And I kind of maybe it might work out if it has voluntary, uh, if nobody's getting hurt or anything. That's fine and good. But but with the removal of the monetary system, they did that with Russia back many years ago, and we all know how that worked out. It just failed. So another thing is like a lot of people just don't know is that the Zeitgeist movement is just like a it's just a collectivist and statist uh, movement. It has a lot of those ideas, and with the whole supercomputer kind of thing, it's like it's bound to fail. Like, somebody is gonna be in control. It's a centralized government. It's like government all over again. But it, the creator just the guy who runs it just will not admit it.
Right. Right. Well, the Peter Joseph, I think, firmly believes that the world has enough natural resources where individuals can benefit and profit for themselves and still have what we have today, except it, he sees money as the root of all evil, really. But what's the root of all money? Um, so I'm reading here on the Zeitgeist movement. They describes itself as a grassroots sustainability advocacy group established in 2008 by Peter Joseph. Their website material states that the group has no leaders. So yeah, I guess in a little bit that's something I can kind of get behind if it's all voluntary and they'll agree that there's no leaders and nobody has any kind of special rights that everybody else does not have. Participation Participants in Zeitgeist movement related activities advocate a transition from a global money-based economic system to what their information refers to as a resource-based economy. So describe a little bit about what that means.
um,
I'm sorry, about resource-based economy.
to my understanding, there's like I Peter Joseph just does not give you a clear cut, straight to the chase answer to that. So I really don't know the answer to that, but it's it just seems like it could be like a barter kind of system. It just doesn't would not work out.
Yeah, right, right, right. Well, it's the same thing with anarchists. Whenever you uh, see an anarchist debating a statist on Facebook or wherever, the statist is always going to ask the anarchist to describe the perfect society and right down to how the sewer systems would work, how the energy systems would work, but how the roads would be built. But the simple answer is that we don't know.
Yeah.
We just know that there's a better solution out there than using the force of government to violently steal money from peaceful people in order to achieve a goal that each of us should be able to come together and collectively achieve on our own so that each one of us individually profits. I mean that's the market. That's capitalism right there.
You know what's really funny? I don't know if it's 100% true or there's that photo that's floating around the internet where it has Pierre Joseph has a whole lot of money and see he wants to get rid of the monetary system. That's pretty hypocritical. That is pretty hypocritical. And they have donations. I would imagine they have donations, I guess. And so he wants to eliminate the monetary system. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah, right. Well, there's a lot of people they view capitalism as corporate greed and that kind of stuff. That's not capitalism. When you got big businesses incorporating, which is basically a government shield from self-responsibility, so that when they commit fraud or they don't honor a contract, the individual in charge of that business doesn't get sued. The company itself gets sued, and that's not free markets at all. That's just corporatism. And when they are in bed with government, what happens is a lot of times is they they snuff out the little businesses, and the big CEOs get the big bailouts and whatnot. The market capitalism, which Peter Joseph is very critical of, the market is us. It's free sovereign individuals trading freely so that both individuals profit. And I know individuals from the Zeitgeist movements are very critical of profits, but profits, I mean, it doesn't have to be like a materialistic exchange. I mean, if my life is better by what I exchange my good for, I profit. Uh, I walk into a store and I want a sandwich. I mean, I don't really care on how the guy working behind the counter is doing. I might ask how he's doing, but I don't really care. I want the sandwich. But I know walking into that, I need to give him something of value that he wants for that sandwich. So he wants my money more than he wants that sandwich, and I want that sandwich more than I want my money. So we're both profiting, and there's no guns pointed at anyone's heads. So that's the most important thing I think to realize about capitalism. It's just peaceful freedom exchange between two or more individuals.
Right.
And you really see it every day, but because of government intrusion in our everyday lives, telling us what to do and telling us what we can and cannot buy. Uh, it distorts. It's a big distortion of the market.
Hmm. Uh, so another thing I was just thinking, like basically he's just does not know his economics. That's it.
Also,
Like I think if he read up more like about like Henry Hazlitt and Mises and Rothbard and David D. Friedman, he would have a very excellent understanding. And but I don't know.
yeah,
I think
right.
I think he's just gonna not do that, and he'll end up like the Venus Project guy, uh, Jacques Fresco. Now he's really old. He's very old. He's like 90 something.
Yeah, right. Well, he started up the Venus Project in the early 1970s, correct?
70s, correct? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Peter Joseph and the Zeitgeist movie, they came out with a movie called Zeitgeist Moving Forward, and they do reference the Venus Project in that film or that documentary. So describe a little bit about the Venus Project and how it relates to Zeitgeist.
Uh, basically, they're uh, well, I should have said that Venus Project's more like Communism 2.0, and Zeitgeist movement is Communism 3.0 or 2.1. But
Also,
now they had a fallout after the films. There's some kind of clip on Daily Motion that has Jacques Fresco really going off on Peter Joseph, and it's like really, I think it's like 2 minutes long or something. I don't know, but uh, basically it's he wants to remove the entire monetary system too, Jacques Fresco. That's one of the similarities, and I don't agree with that, obviously. And um, I know that Molyneux was he had the Venus Project guys one time, not the uh, not the man who started it, but people who work there. Or, I don't know how it works there, but um, they were guests on his show, Freedom A Radio, and so it's I think Zeitgeist moves more like extreme than Venus Project, but don't get me wrong. There's like a few things Venus Project has right, but then again, it's just it just doesn't seem like it's like the whole world would do that, and they have the thing is actually going on in uh, Venus, Florida. That's they got it all
mhm.
set up there, like all the futuristic kind of buildings and stuff. But Fresco wants it all like globally, which I don't think would be possible because I
Well,
don't.
yeah, I mean geographically, yeah, right. Well, geographically, there are some places that can't have certain sorts of energy sources that other geographical locations can have. And I'm all for sustainable energy and wind turbines and what do you call those on the roof? It's on the tip of my tongue. Solar panels.
Solar panels.
And I'm all cool with that as long as there's a market for them, which I think there is, and as long as they're not funded by money stolen by government. And I think it's interesting to me how both the Venus Project and the Zeitgeist movement, they both say they want to do away with the current monetary system, but how they don't describe how they want to do away with the monetary system. Do they just want to develop this kind of system here and in competition to in competition to the current system here in hopes that it maybe phases out or what?
I don't think they're really looking for competition at all. So it's you know just a lot of that ad hominem kind of stuff. You know
Okay, all
when
right,
they're approached it, and it just doesn't. It's very counterproductive. Yeah. So
right, right. Okay. Well, is there any other information you'd like to add to this? Oh,
uh
first of all, I want to ask you how are they bad? How are they a bad thing towards specifically? I mean,
it's
if this is just something they're all doing on their own on the side, it's not really bad because it doesn't really affect us.
yeah, it seems like they're just only doing it like on the side. It's not very serious. It's not going to be a big world changing kind of thing. And one of the things that really kind of bothered me was during that Pierre Joseph wanted to, you know, he wasn't really for voluntarism. That right there just tells me, wow, kind of just it's just like a red flag just goes up, you know.
Right. Right. Well, the good thing about voluntarism and anarcho-capitalism is one of the traits is tolerance. And if this is something they want to do and they want to start up their own little community in a free society without government and they want to start up their own little community and everyone voluntarily agrees and they all understand that nobody has any special rights, there's no leaders, and people are free to come and go as they want, no violence, and that's like something they want to do. And then you have like anarcho-capitalist camp over here, and you have a communist camp, and you have a socialist camp, and you have whatever camp over here. I mean, as long as everyone is peacefully getting along and maybe even trading ideas, to me that's great. And I think that's really what the Free State Project in Porkfest, which I'll be attending in a couple of weeks. I think that's really something that that's an idea that's really underrated, I think, in society, and it shows that it really works. That different people of different political backgrounds can really just get along, and there really is no government influence over there, except just private security. There's no cops, there's no politicians telling people what to do, and there's Republicans, Democrats, there's socialists, communists, anarcho-capitalists, voluntarists, anarcho-communists, and they're all getting along peacefully. There was never any arguments. I was there last year. It was a great experience. And if you ever get a chance to get up there, I really, really think it's a great idea that you do. Uh, so before we end this, I'd like to ask you if you had just a few things left to say to the world, and you're on your deathbed, and you have like all these cameras, like mainstream media is in your face. What would you say to them?
I would say go for peaceful coexistence. Uh, you know, don't really just end coercion. I really am against that. You know, just
All right, that's awesome, man.
you know,
Yeah, that's a good message.
yeah. So, and basically what you were saying before, Zeitgeist Movement Prius Project, perfectly fine if they want to do it, you know, peacefully and without any coercion, and you know, whatever makes them happy. That's cool. That's cool by me. You know.
Yep, that's it. I mean, the anarchy is about property,
Right.
and I don't care if I have communist and socialist neighbors, as long as they allow me to live the way I want to live on my property.
Exactly.
All right, all right. So, okay, I guess that's the end. Um, so thank you everyone for tuning in to Freedom Live, broadcasted from Voluntary Virtues Network every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week I'll be joined by Josie the Outlaw, and Devin. I think we should have you back in a couple of months. What do you think?
I would love that. That would be I'd be honored.
All
And
right.
I really like the Voluntary Virtues Network. Mike Shanklin is really awesome for putting all this together. And anyone who's involved with this is awesome in my book. And yeah,
Absolutely, I agree, man. Yeah, Mike's a super guy, and I tease him. I call him a vampire because he never sleeps.
uh,
You know, he gets like an hour's sleep a night, and he's constantly up, and he's working on the new business that I'm involved with, helping him with White Cloud Security, and he's got the Voluntary Virtues Network, and he's doing all this stuff just to push the freedom message, which is something that's really, it's something I can't even grasp. It's I don't have enough time in the day to do what he does, which I think is really amazing. And I look forward to seeing him in a couple of weeks up in New Hampshire. Him and I will be um, promoting White Cloud up there, so hopefully we get that message out there to people.
yeah. I wish you the best of luck on all that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So again, thanks again, everyone, and have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.